Take your mind into the wonderful world of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kinetic Hour. Conversations with you and guests. With your host, Kenan Wesley Mason. That's me.
Women annual mammograms start at age 40, but a new survey finds many are missing critical information about their breast cancer risks that may impact when screenings should start and if further testing is needed. Dr. Frank McGeorge is here to explain what women need to know. Doc.
Well, Kimberly, I have a little show and tell here. So these are the 4 categories of breast density. Now, here in category A, the breasts are almost all fatty tissue, and they're frankly easy to see through. But as we move along, the breasts have more dense tissue, which shows up white on the mammogram. Now, this makes it harder to see cancer, which also looks white on a mammogram. And that means you may need a different form of screening, like an ultrasound or MRI. Having dense breast tissue also raises the risk of developing breast cancer. So it is important that women have this information.
That's been a long time ago, right?
After losing her mother to breast cancer, Ashley Dedman wanted more information on her own cancer risk, both for herself and for her 2 daughters.
My girls could possibly have one day lived their life without me. And I experienced that as a daughter. And so I did not want that for my own girls.
With a family history of cancer on both sides, Ashley's gynecologist recommended starting mammograms early, which revealed another clue.
After my first mammogram, I received a letter in the mail that shared that I had dense breast. And I was like, what does this mean?
40% of women have dense breast tissue, which can impact future screenings and preventative care. But a new survey by Myriad Genetics finds just over half of women even know what breast density is, and only a third know it may increase their risk of breast cancer.
A lot of my patients come in and think that they can feel their breast and determine that their breasts are dense. I can't palpate it, and neither can my patients. Breast density is a radiological or mammographic finding.
For patients with high risk factors, Dr. Ifanya Stitt uses MyRisk Hereditary Cancer Test, which identifies genetic mutations tied to 11 different types of hereditary cancers. It also provides doctors with a personalized breast cancer risk score based on a patient's breast density, genetics, age, and family history. Dr. Stitt says it's information that empowers her patients.
This is the risk that you actually truly have, and these are the changes that we can make to mitigate your actual true risk.
If I had not gotten genetic testing, I would now be potentially the 4th generation of women in my family impacted by this disease.
Now, Ashley didn't just have dense breast tissue, although through genetic testing, she learned she is a carrier of the BRCA2 gene mutation. Now, she opted for a preventative double mastectomy and now has annual checkups with a gynecologist and oncologist who both specialize in high-risk patients.
This brings up a really interesting point. So if there are women who aren't familiar with what dense breast tissue is, how would one know that? How would one identify that?
Well, that is a key thing. And actually, the FDA has helped with some new regulations that require healthcare providers to inform women about their breast density following a mammogram. But that is not always happening. Experts actually encourage all women to talk to their healthcare providers about this information, as well as other risk factors like family history. There are frankly a lot of risk assessment tools available now that can help guide how much breast cancer screening you personally need and what kind you might need as well.
Really, really important information. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Doc.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Kinetic Hour. I am your host, Kenan Wesley Mason. Welcome one, welcome all, as I am live at a later hour here in the United States, the Western Hemisphere, specifically the West Coast of the United States. So welcome to everyone that's, whether it's late night on the East Coast, from New York to Florida, to everyone here on the West Coast, from Washington to Baja California, and everyone watching where it's actually earlier evening in places like Hawaii and Alaska and the South Pacific, where it's just starting to become dark at this time. But welcome to everyone. And thank you for tuning in. As always, whether it's one person or 1,000 people, my voice will permeate. And so thank you. Go to my YouTube channels and subscribe. My YouTube channels. One is the Kinetic Hour. And as always, that's Kinetic, Kennetic. And also Kinetic Fit and Wellness Info. For anything health related, everything health related. And on that same note, because the clip that you just saw has to do with this month, which is considered Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we don't really see too much about breast cancer awareness as we used to, or at least I haven't seen any reports as frequent as once upon a time. And so I'm going to do a few segments, actually, because breast cancer is not only an important subject, but it's also a sensitive subject to many people for many reasons. And so, again, welcome to anyone and everyone that's listening and watching. We're simulcasting live on Facebook, simulcasting live on Instagram, and simulcasting live on TikTok. So welcome. And welcome to the groups that I'm a part of on Facebook. The Facebook groups regarding breast cancer, because it's such a sensitive subject, they haven't taken too kindly by some of the information that I've posted over the last maybe 3 months, which is very telling to me because, as we know, here in America, the narrative is that there is no cure for not only breast cancer, but no cure for any type of cancer, right? Because here in America, the collective consciousness that we've been force-fed is that there is no cure for any any sort of cancer, whether it's in this case breast cancer, and for women it could be cervical cancer, which is very prevalent with women, breast cancer, cervical cancer, or what's called uterine cancer, endometrial cancer, endometriosis, which is a negative or adverse condition of the endometrial lining. But I came across some things on Facebook, or actually I came across one thing that comes up every year. And that one thing is an article that I typed on Facebook. Oh, the original article was actually from 2011, because I've been talking about cancer for that long, and have been learning about cancer and other health matters, but specifically cancer, not only breast cancer for women, but we all should know by now that cancer is a condition that affects more men today. More men are developing breast cancer. So I typed up an article back in 2011 regarding Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And about a week ago, I saw it pop up in my Facebook feed. The last edition that I typed up in 2014, October of 2014. And over those 3 or 4 years that it posted on Facebook, I made some slight changes, just like authors make changes to their books that are successful. They make a second edition and a third edition, a fourth edition. So what popped up is the last time that I made extra info available in 2014. So I'm gonna highlight this article regarding breast cancer over the next few episodes. And I'm also gonna reference a couple of books because unfortunately, because I'm not a physician, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not even a naturopathic doctor. I don't have DR in front of my name. I don't have DR in front of my name. I don't have MD behind my name. I don't have ND for naturopathic doctor. I don't have any of those titles. I just happen to self-educate myself on not only cancer, but just health conditions or illness conditions in general, so I can learn how to create a health condition versus creating the illness condition, getting to the root cause of what created the illness so I can take it upon myself to create health. And so this article came up and I'm going to read it. And like I said, I'm going to reference a few books here. The first book I'm going to reference is this book here. And I've referenced this book before because I've interviewed the author on a couple of occasions now. And her name is Dr. Laila Ali. And she wrote a wonderful book called You've Been Diagnosed with Cancer and Now You're in a Panic Handbook. And now you're in a panic handbook by Dr. Laila Ali. And she's a pharmacy doctor and she's great. And I read this book along with her first book, which is called Off Balance, which is a great book. You should check it out. But this book right here specifically talks about cancer specifically. And I read the entire book from cover to cover, and it's a great book. It's a great read, and it's an easy read as well. It's an easy read. And so is her first book, Off Balance. The second book I'm going to reference is from a woman that she passed away a couple of years ago, I think 3 years ago now. But she has a wonderful documentary and book of the same name. It's called You Can Heal Your Life. It's called You Can Heal Your Life. But this book here that I have as a part of my library, I have a ton of books that I reference or read or get information from. I have books on history. I have books on health. I have books on how you can heal yourself naturally. I have books on quantum physics. I have books on how to use the mind. I have books on chakras. You name it. Books on how you can heal multiple sclerosis and candida overgrowths, and you name it. I have books on ancient history, books on government, you name it. I probably have something regarding the subject on life matters. I have books on frequency and vibration. So my range is pretty wide and vast. But again, after saying all of that, I'm still not a medical doctor. I'm still not a naturopathic physician. I'm not an acupuncturist. I'm not an oncologist. I'm none of those. But again, I took it upon myself over the last 2 decades now, plus 2 decades plus, to learn about the ways of the human body and how it operates and how we can get the most out of it. So this book that I'm going to reference as well is called You Can Heal. It's called Heal Your Body. Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, best-selling author of You Can Heal Your Life. And as you can see here, it says the mental causes for physical illness and the metaphysical way to overcome them. Meaning, all of us have the innate capability of healing ourselves once we find the root causes of our illnesses, whether it's cancer or otherwise. And also, well, I'm going to reference those 2 books. And also, I'm going to reference some articles because, again, I've been doing my own due diligence for 2 decades, and I have files of either documents or reports or articles that go back to 2005. I have articles that go back to 2005 on health matters. And this one here, this one is about breast cancer and mammograms. And these articles go back to 2010. So I'll be referencing some of these as well. These are some of the articles that I have from 2010. And so I'll be referencing that as well over the next couple of episodes, because this month is considered Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm going to pull this article up and I'm just going to read, and then I'll kind of make some, I'll digress and go into expound on what the article reads, because keep in mind, I first typed this up back in 2011. So my verbiage may be a little different than what it would be now, which is why I made modifications in 2012 and 2013, and then the final in 2014. And there's so many cancers that have been identified. Before I bring up the article, I'm just going to pull this up because there's so many cancers. I'm just going to go over a few here. This, if you can see this right here, chart of cancer awareness ribbon colors. Cancer awareness ribbon colors. As you can see here, right here, this pink one here represents breast cancer. And you can see all the different cancers. I'll come back to this because I have a different, another one that I want to highlight as well. But you can see all the different cancers that have been identified over the years and over the decades. And as you can see, it's a pretty lengthy list of cancers that have been among us for the last maybe 3 or 4 generations. And so I'm going to bring up this article as I come out of there. I'm going to bring up this article here, and this is from Facebook. And again, I'm just going to read as it reads. I'm going to read it exactly as it states here, as it's been posted here on Facebook since 2011. And as you can see the date there of the last edition, if you will, of October 4th or October 2nd of 2014. And I'll just read the preface before I start, because I always made a preface because there are people that still believe that the only way to heal cancer is through the standard protocols. So I'm going to preface with, this is the 4th year sharing my information. It is imperative to take the time to learn and discover truths about this symptom, not to be brushed off as mere rhetoric or hearsay because the information does not fit the current treatment paradigm. Whether you agree or disagree with the content, this is to stimulate conscious and or critical thinking and dialogue to those who truly care. If you currently know anyone that has been diagnosed with any type of cancer, is currently contemplating or considering standard U.S. medical treatments, or who has already gone through such treatments, please feel free to copy and share this on your page and reveal to your scope of influence and everyone you authentically care for and love. And that's just a preface, a preface. So the article, I'm going to keep reading forward. Matter of fact, I'm going to put my special glasses on. October, as most people know, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This national campaign was founded in 1985 to bring awareness to all women that have transitioned from this life or survived the breast cancer illness. All women of America must and need to be aware they can cure themselves, or better phrased, your own physicality can heal/cure itself of all cancers naturally, including breast cancer. This is a documented and proven statistic or scientific fact globally. There is absolutely no need to continue participating in annual walks in the park or through the city streets to raise funds for research foundations for a cancer cure that will never be created by the conventional Western medical establishment. So the Western medical establishment, before I go to the second part, the standard Western medical establishment, as we all know, the standard protocols here in America for virtually all cancers virtually all cancers here in America and other developed countries. But I'll just speak on here in America because this is where I live. Here in America, the standard protocols, or the first line of defense when someone is diagnosed with cancer, is, of course, the chemotherapy, and then radiation or high-powered X-rays, and then surgical procedures, surgery, removing the cancer in the hopes that it doesn't grow back. And typically, with all three protocols, the root cause is never identified or acknowledged. The root cause. which is why in many cases, many, if not most oncologists tell their patients that they have a 5-year window of remission, a 5-year window of remission, meaning that within those 5 years, either one, you're going to pass away from cancer, or two, the cancer will come back more progressively. Because again, the root cause hasn't been addressed. And in the past, actually this time last year, I did a whole show on breast cancer and gave a bunch of different ways that cancer can develop in the human body, whether it's breast cancer, ovular cancer, uterine cancer, it doesn't really matter. But the standard Western way is chemical therapy. And I challenge all of you to go and look up the history of chemotherapy, the history, and where it comes from and why that protocol is used still today. And most people don't know the history. Most people that have been diagnosed with cancer don't know the history of chemotherapy. But it's the number one protocol, procedure when it comes to a cancer diagnosis. And this is the Western way, as we see that 1 in 8 women will develop cancer or breast cancer. 40% of women, as the clip that I showed at the top of the show, 40% of women have dents. And then on another show that I did about a year ago, or actually earlier this year, I pointed out that 41% of Black women are more likely to die of breast cancer. 41%. And before I go to the next, matter of fact, let me just go to the next part of the article here. Okay, so I just read the preface and the first part of the article here. So I'm going to go to part 2 here. Now, part 2 here, wearing pink ribbons. Wearing pink or wearing pink ribbons in the month of October will not bring anyone closer to a cure for breast cancer. Or, as a question, has wearing pink or pink ribbons in the month of October since 2008 brought researchers any closer to finding a cure for breast cancer? As we have pink ribbons. Just had the pink, we have this here. I have 2 pins here, and I had a pink ribbon, and I guess I must have misplaced it because I just had it. But I do have, I'll just show it on the next episode. Oh, here it is right here. Here it is right here. So pink ribbons, such as this right here, such as this pink ribbon. Pink ribbons, and also not only pink ribbons, but pink. You have pink ribbons here. This one says faith, courage, and believe, which is good. And this one here, this pin right here, this says love, hope, and cure. Love, hope, and cure. And then you have this one here. This one says breast cancer awareness. You are not alone. You are not alone. You see that right there. Regarding the pink ribbons, which is the symbol of breast cancer. That's the symbol, breast cancer, pink. So as I go back to the article here, a bigger question is, has This national campaign brought the nation any closer to finding a cure for this type of cancer. Individuals who are a part of these foundations, such as the American Cancer Society, the National Cancer Institute, and the National Breast Cancer Foundation, Inc., with their Donate a Mammogram Now advertising, definitely do not want to lose their six-figure salaries as they perpetuate the very illness they claim to want a cure for. If one day, hypothetically of course, there were a national news break which said top physicians have finally discovered the cure for cancer. And no, it is not chemotherapy. They would be on the EDD unemployment website the next day because, of course, cancer is big business. I mean, we all should know this by now. Cancer is a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate worldwide. It just is. And the more people that are diagnosed with cancer, more money for the oncologists, more money for those that make the chemotherapy drip, right? More money for the radiologists that fry your insides, right? Cancer, cancer does not exist in other parts, or at the least, it's very rare. Yet in the United States, we have the highest rate of all cancers, and the numbers are consistently rising. You must know cancer is a corporate business, a nearly 300 billion, as you can see in parentheses, $300 billion business globally. Globally, $300 billion. And there's been a war on cancer since 1972 officially here in America, or since 1971 with former President Richard Nixon, and has been since the early 1970s during the, here it is, since the Richard Nixon presidency when he announced the, quote, war on cancer. Remember, all wars create revenue, as we see with the wars that are going on right now and have been going on all my life. All wars create revenue. Do you ever wonder where all that money goes and to whom? Of course not. Most people don't even consider it. They don't even consider it. Women and men are kept in fear of cancer because they've been conditioned to be in fear of cancer by the allopathic Western medical establishment and our U.S. media. Fear creates stress. Stress creates fear. Both create negative physiology or toxic and quantum physiological or energetic imbalances. They do. Fear. And I've talked about the fear factor of cancer on a few occasions. I've talked about the fear factor of cancer because when most people hear of the cancer diagnosis, fear. And the fear is because we have, as a society, we've been ill-informed about what cancer truly, not all the tech medical stuff that we hear from oncologists and physicians in the allopathic medical field. But we need to know that you can heal yourself of any and all cancers, like I said before. And the ribbons of cancer because pink ribbons, or any ribbon for that matter, is not going to heal anyone of their cancer. I'm just going to pull this up real quick. Cancer ribbon colors, again, meanings and months. And as you can see, once again, cancer related ribbon colors, you see different people wearing different cancer colors. You have one here for breast cancer, you have one here for leukemia, one here for liver cancer, one here for prostate cancer, one here for ovarian cancer, one for all cancer, one for bladder cancer, one for brain cancer, right? There's a color for each one. As you can see right here, the number one, breast cancer. Breast cancer, the pink ribbon today, so quickly identified as a symbol in the fight against breast cancer, was first introduced during the 1990s as part of the Susan G. Komen New York Race for the Cure. And that was in the 90s. Now, we're in the 21st century currently. We're in the 21st century. And I haven't seen any oncologist come forward to say that we are getting closer to finding a universal cure or a universal set of cures for breast cancer or for cancer, period. Here you can see number 2, prostate cancer. Prostate cancer. Here you see lung cancer. Lung cancer. While lung cancer is associated with smoking, more than half of the people diagnosed with lung cancer are former smokers or people who have never smoked. Campaigners stress the need for equitable care, including access to lung cancer screening and treatment in Black communities, because, again, Black people, or what we call African American people, or dark-skinned people that look like me, are more susceptible to not only developing breast cancer, but to have more complications with the treatments. The treatments, as you see, colon cancer right here, which is another big one. Colon, often referred to as colorectal cancer, ranks 3rd among common cancer diagnoses in the United States, as it is the 2nd leading cause of cancer-related deaths. Colon cancer, and then you have pancreatic cancer right there, ovarian cancer, which I talked about earlier, skin cancer, and melanoma, right? All of these different cancers that have been identified, brain cancer, right? So we have all of these different types of cancer, and unfortunately, because many people fear cancer and we live in a quick fix society, we tend to go to the standard Western protocols out of desperation and out of being ill-informed as well, ill-informed. So actually, I just read 2 pieces of the article, and I'm going to leave it there until the next episode, because I'm going to go even deeper into breast cancer awareness, cancer just as a conglomerate, as I just read, you just heard me read that cancer is at an estimated $300 billion annually. I mean, it's $3 billion. That's how much revenue is generated through the condition of cancer. And there are ways that you can heal yourself of cancer once the root cause is identified. And I'll go over some things that all of us can do to heal ourselves, reduce the tumor. Because like I always say, the tumor is not your enemy. The tumor is your signal, the signal that something needs to change with you. Because cancer, as I always say, cancer just does not fall out of the sky. It just doesn't. Cancer is a development. And once we identify the root cause of the development, then we can have a more precise and specific way of a healing protocol. And there are many. And I'll go over some of them as we progress, as we're kind of halfway in the middle of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So go to my YouTube channel. Again, KENNETIC, The Kinetic Hour on YouTube. Subscribe. Tell everyone that you know to subscribe. Tell everyone that you know to leave comments. Tell everyone that you know to leave a comment regarding the comment. And tell everyone that you know to just tune in to all the episodes of The Kinetic Hour, because you're always going to learn something or take away something from each episode. Something. If I've helped just one person, just by, oh, okay, that's why. If you have those type of aha moments, then I've done my job, even on a minute scale. So thank you to everyone tuning in to The Kinetic Hour. And until next time,